The International Energy Agency recently reported that energy-related carbon dioxide emissions are at historic highs and estimates that energy use and carbon dioxide emissions will increase by a third by 2020 and almost double by 2050, likely sending global temperatures at least 6 degrees Celsius higher. To address this, for the past several years, IBM scientists in Zurich have been investigating how electric vehicles, appliances and homes can be used to buffer the irregular production of sustainable electricity on the grid, in projects including Edison and EcoGrid. Today, the scientists have announced another, albeit unlikely, buffer resource: freezer warehouses. IBM scientist Doug Deitman explains.
The projects we've done in the past, we've looked at buffering energy using smart homes, using electric vehicles, and now in this new project what we want to do is see what we can do with more industrial applications. And one of the most logical choices there are these large freezer warehouses. These are really natural places to buffer energy because on the one hand, when they're already cooled down, they can run for several hours without consuming any electricity at all. And on the other hand, in these buildings that we're looking at together with Migros, they can consume up to 1 megawatt of electricity in a single building for a given period of time, just to further cool it. Now if you then think about an electricity grid where we're producing more power using wind and solar sources, those are of course a lot more variable than what we've seen in the past from, say, nuclear plants or coal-fired or gas-fired generation. And what we can do using the freezer warehouses is we can compensate for the variability from the renewable generation by consuming more or less electricity as needed. And of course, if you think into the future where we'll have a much larger proportion of the electricity generated with renewables, this will become more and more important.
In a new collaboration with BKW, the electricity utility provider of the Canton of Bern, Switzerland, Migros, Switzerland's largest retailer and supermarket chain, Swissgrid, the national grid operator, and the Swiss Federal Department of Energy, IBM scientists will analyse logistics and warehouse sensor data with real-time energy demands to optimise the balance between the production and consumption of energy for Migros' 200,000 square metre sized warehouse. The facility, located in Neuendorf, is roughly the size of 30 football fields, and it is used by Migros to keep perishable goods at a cool -28 degrees Celsius 24/7, which requires roughly the equivalent energy demands of 1,500 homes. Migros warehouse manager Raffaele Staracchi comments.
We are working on -28 degrees, and a typical day is we work around 45,000 tradings units. So this depends, as we're talking about 60, 70, 80 load trucks per day that we move around Switzerland.
The project has the potential to contribute to Switzerland's energy policy goal of increasing the proportion of electricity produced from renewable energy by 5,400 gigawatt hours, or 10% of the country's present-day electricity consumption by 2030. Walter Arnold, the Chief Financial Officer for Migros Warehouse in Neuendorf, comments about the importance of Flexlast.
By 2020, Migros promised to reduce its energy by 10%. Even the CO2 emissions to reduce by 20%. So to reach these goals, we have to analyze our whole supply chain in the stores to reduce our cooling devices, lighting, and in the logistics to optimize transportation, packaging, and so on.
The project will begin in early 2013. This is Anne-Marie Cromack reporting.